Good morning. This is Bill from Auto Europa Naples, and today I have this 2002 Porsche Boxster. This was the car that saved Porsche. I know a lot of 911 guys are going to be very unhappy to hear that, but it is a very, very true statement. In 1986, Porsche sold about 50,000 units. They were rolling, they were selling a ton of cars. In 93, they sold about 16,000, of which only about 3,000 came to the United States. So Porsche was in trouble. Their fleet was aging. They were producing this, air-cooled, rear-engined, really strange sports car that, the enthusiasts had made them keep going for years. They were trying to just keep it afloat, overcome all of its basic inherent design flaws. You know it's true. Hanging the engine out over the ass like that wasn't the right thing to do. But Porsche did manage to make an incredible car out of it. That said, they needed to modernize. Their design process was a mess. Their production process was a mess. They were inefficient. The cars were getting more expensive. And they were reaching a point where acquisition was almost a foregone conclusion. To head that off, they went to some engineers from Toyota. Pretty good company to go to engineers from, and Toyota helped them to streamline their process. Porsche also very much noticed the success. Oh my God, that's a big duck somewhere. That is terrifying. Anyway, Porsche also noticed the success of the Mazda Miata, that showed that a two-seat Roadster could sell like hotcakes all across the world and be a fantastic car. So they started to come together with a concept on making a two-seat Roadster. In fact, that's where the name Boxster comes from. It's a combination of the Boxer engine with a Roadster chassis, and this was the first Porsche in many, many years to be designed as a Roadster. So what they did is they got some great design guys. They put together the Boxster concept way back in the early 90s, and it was hearkening to the 550 Spider. You might remember that as the car that killed James Dean. That was also a mid-engined, I believe that was, of course, a four-cylinder back then, but a very light, nimble, agile, fun to drive, incredibly well-handling car, and that's what the Boxster was to be. We'll get into the controversy over it in a minute. The first thing that I'm going to do is put the roof down on this thing, because that is the way this car should be. Now you can see the black fabric roof is in nice shape. It does have a plastic rear window, which is nice and clear, although that was the cause of some consternation among people. They thought a car in this price range should have glass, and eventually they did. But the plastic window is very much a sports car type idea, and they did make hard tops. You could bolt on these things. Anyway, let's get the top down. So to do that, we get the key in the ignition over here on the left, Le Mans style. We're going to pop this guy right here, pull it back. We got our e-brake on, our ignition on, and press that button. Now, you can see a little panel comes up, down goes the top, and the panel closes very nicely over the top of it. And when it's down, a light will go out signifying that it is down. And we can roll our windows, and we're good to go. So let's have a look at it now. And that is where the lines and beauty of this car really come into play. You can see the lovely roll bar there at the back. That is very much functional. Has a windscreen, clear plastic in the middle, and plastic little venti things on both sides. The design of this car is exceptional because it's the most useful little two-seat Roadster you can buy. And that's from a Miata enthusiast. But the Porsche has done this better. And I'll show you why. Better in terms of a car you can live with. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's better than the Miata. That's not entirely true. Anyway, back here it has a trunk. No engine at all. You can actually fit golf clubs in here. Sorry, you see I got donuts for the guys and my bag of crap. Those three little things there, that's where you're going to find the access to the motor fluids, if you will, the dipstick, the oil, the water. Again, golf clubs can slide in under those panels all the way across the back, so you get that. So even with the top down, there's no real incursion into that trunk space, and weekend trip stuff is a piece of cake. Now to help that out, we also have a frunk which I just didn't get to open. So let's see if I can do that properly. Alright, bear with me. Oh, that's the back. Alright, so therein lies one of my little problems with life. As it turns out, as Murphy's Law would have it, the frunk I cannot get to open. So there's our famous Porsche reliability. I can tell you I was in there early this morning. You'll see in the photos there's a very nice Porsche car cover, even the little accessory bag for the windscreen, and a nice deep area to store stuff. So anyway, my fantastic luck. Back it goes to the shop, and we'll get that frunk working perfectly. A word that I hate, by the way, and now my hatred has been reinforced. Up front you can see it's got these very attractive looking headlights. Now I say very attractive looking. Some people are very upset with these headlights, and I'll tell you why. Because from the front bumper all the way to the dashboard, this car is essentially the same as the 996 911, and if you remember, this is the 986 Boxster, which was significantly less money. So that really pissed off the 911 guys. They did not want their 911s to look like the Boxsters. I mean, this thing was designed to replace the 924, the 944, the 968. The last thing a 911 guy is for his car to look like any other Porsche. So those headlights became quite a controversial thing. You can see, though, they are quite attractive. It was part of Porsche's design philosophy, as intermixed with Toyota, to start reusing parts all across their platforms and, you know, make it in such a way that, you know, the production costs, the assembly costs were cheaper. And by doing that, Porsche ended up having more profit per unit than any other manufacturer out there. A big turnaround from a company that was near solvency. Anyway, I'm trying to get over the frunk thing. You can see this one has the lace alloy wheels. That was nice for '02. You get to the back, again, we didn't see an engine. The engine is in the middle of this car, which makes it perfectly balanced, lovely weight distribution, very, very nimble and agile in every way. They had bumped up displacement from 2.5 to 2.7 in 2000, moved the horsepower from around 200 to 217. This is mated to the world's smoothest 5-speed manual gearbox. Absolutely lovely. And basically, other than a little panel underneath the soft top, the only way you're getting to this motor is from underneath. The brakes, discs, exceptional, all independent suspension. The little vents on the side, lovely, feeding that, you know, that Boxer motor in the middle. And another thing that Porsche managed to do was make that water-cooled M96 engine sound a lot like the air-cooled engine that it replaced. So even right down to the ticking, you know, when you park it, and the weird whirring noises and all that, they did a fantastic job with that. In this example, you can see how mint it is, clean. These guys here always fly off. They're long gone. You just see dusty looking mirrors. So somebody really kept this car nice, including in the, you know, forbidden frunk up front, where you get that factory Porsche car cover. Anyway, there it all is. What a lovely looking car. So let's get in and drive it. There we go with some really attractive leather seats, absolutely gorgeous. Porsche has really dumb options, and by dumb options, what I mean is they have this big a la carte menu with hundreds of items on it, each one of them costing ridiculous sums of money. So even little things like these Porsche crests in the headrests end up costing an absolute fortune. You can see it has side airbags, nice little map pocket here to put stuff in, a perfect spot for your H&K 9mm. You've got, again, the dashboard directly out of the 996 911, pissing off those guys, so that's kind of a fun thing. Very simple, very lovely. It's, you know, like if somebody made a, you know, $50,000 Miata, it would look a little bit like this. So let's hop in. One more try on the frunk. Nothing. Oh, God, that's infuriated. All right, let's fire it up. So again, Key Le Mans style. Clutch in, and you can hear that motor fire to life. I'm going to try to do this drive with the top down. What the hell? You know what? No, I'm not. It's just going to be all wind noise. It's going to be ridiculous. So let me press that. You can see the top working in reverse. Up it comes, very nice headliner in that. Once that motor stops, you can push this guy back, and then the windows, if you don't have them all the way down, will come up and seal. Very, very nice. We'll get a little climate control going here. Now, it is a shame that I do have the top up for this, because this car has the sweetest, I mean, Mozart would listen to the music coming from this exhaust, these pipes, and want to use it in one of his concerto. It just has the loveliest sound that anyone has ever heard. Alright, so again, this camera is absolutely ridiculous trying to drive a manual gearbox with it. I'm going to run this window down so you can hear the pipes. I guess before we go, we'll go over some of the controls. So you've got your lights over here, all very nice and proper, simple. Click one for parks, twice for the xenons, pull once for front fog, pull twice for rear fog. Lovely little sporty steering wheel, 3-spoke, little grippity grips on either side. An absolutely gorgeous instrument cluster, some kind of failings, but not bad. You've got this 8,000 RPM tack in the middle, maxes out at 7, really winding that little M96 out. You've got the 150 mile an hour speedo, a little bit of an afterthought over to the left, and virtually, look at 25 and 50. I mean, it's virtually impossible to gauge your speed based on that. So they did give you a little digital speedometer beneath that to make it easy. You see just 43,000 miles on the clock on this one. You got a clock over there on the other side. You got your water temp and your fuel, everything you need. I like the way there's sort of a pass-through on top of the gauges. Just makes it look more sporty. Great little cluster. Over here, great little center console hump. There's our lights coming on. Place to put your phone. You got automatic climate control. Beautiful leather shifter. Absolutely lovely shifting feel in this car. Your windows, your ashtray cover there, everything all mint. This car's been beautifully kept. The dash, straight out of a Super Beetle. I mean, genuinely, Porsche just has not updated that dash at this point, for many, many decades. Directly out, oh, it's not the same as a Beetle, but it's not dissimilar. All right, away we go. I don't know if you can start to hear that, but the sounds coming from those pipes and the smooth pull of that torque curve. Sorry for the, what do you call it, the mist there in the windshield. Just one of our Florida things every morning. Alright, so let me take a right turn here. I'll get into it a little bit. I'm going to have to do some left-handed shifting, which is going to be ridiculous, but we'll give it a try. Okay, I hope you heard that, because that is what makes a Boxster a fantastic car. You know, I don't care about the jokes. I don't care about the 911 little brother thing. I don't even care if somebody says it's a girl car. Give me a Boxster to drive. That flat six with that variable valve timing, with that tuned intake, with that beautiful exhaust note, with that buttery smooth 5-speed shifter, with the way you can throw it around a racetrack with such incredible agility. This is a true driver's car. If you brought Professor Porsche back from the dead and had him, check out all the cars that, had been made since his death, I think he would have found this one the most entertaining. The true successor to the 550 Spider. Doesn't have to have a lot of horsepower, doesn't have to have, insane, straight line performance. But what it did have to have for him was joy of driving, the ability to be nimble, agile, get around the track and around the streets with a lot of fun, with great feel, and the Boxster does that better than any other Porsche. Let me take a right here because of the sun. Let this guy go. And was it ever a success? It is the car that saved Porsche from insolvency. Until the Cayenne, the SUV, came out many, many years later, Boxster sales figures made this thing, way higher than the 911. Sold a ton of them, made a lot of money for Porsche, kept them under their own ownership, and really saved the company. So take that, 911 guys. That little Boxster you're always besmirching is the only reason you're able to go and buy a new, properly built 911 today. So anyway, there it is, 2002 Porsche Boxster, immaculate car. This one's a champion, low miles, great condition, great colors, great options. You have an interest in this one, give us a call, 239-298-8000, on the web at aenaples.com. Thanks so much for having a look. We appreciate it. We'll see you with the next one. Take care.